Hey everybody, welcome back once again to another Fewture video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new EX Gohkin Transformers series, Alpha Trion. This is a non-transforming Transformers figure, and it may be one of the first actual true blue Alpha Trion figures ever released. I know there's been some repaints, but I believe this is the first time a dedicated sculpt for Alpha Trion has been released. And if I'm wrong about that, I'm hoping one of you good people will let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure this is the first legit, full-on, totally unique Alpha Trion figure that wasn't a BotCon exclusive and wasn't some kind of repaint. Anyway, this is the packaging, and this is an official licensed product from Takara. We even see the Transformers 30th logo down there that Takara has been using. And we've got the big old Autobot logo here. It's a really handsome package. I'm really digging the colors here. It's even got like the grid from the old school 1980s Transformers figures, the original G1 figures, how they were packaged, what the design was like. And on the back, we've got some more details here. We see the stand and that he can be quote unquote transformed to a previous version of himself. Before he was Alpha Trion, he was A3. So that's what that's all about. And I think this is supposed to be some kind of sheath here, and it's supposed to reveal a window box or something, but mine is really snug and it's not coming apart like that at all. So this is what we're looking at. So why don't you sit tight? I'm going to get this guy open and we're going to take a look at what this non-transforming Transformers Alpha Trion is all about. Here is Alpha Trion out of his packaging, and he is a gorgeous figure. He's very nicely done, it looks like. The sculpt is so clean and accurate to the source. I mean, he looks like he stepped right off the cartoon from 1984. Like he stepped right off the screen. He's just beautiful. The paint is all very clean. The edges here, everything just looks great. Everything looks really good. And you can see right when I turn him around here, we've got that little slot in his back, and that is for his cape, which I'll just put on right now. That just pops right in there like that. And now he is wearing his cape. And his cape is also articulated. It can split, and then the pieces each have a pretty good range of motion. They can go all over the place, so you can put them in some action poses. And the cape can look like it's flowing. But that is Alpha Trion out of the packaging. And let's look at the interior of the cape too while we're looking at it. And there's a full sculpt there too. That looks really awesome. It's very detailed, very intricate. So I mean, EX Gohkin really went all out on this Alpha Trion figure. I honestly can't imagine a better robot mode, a better representation of Alpha Trion's robot mode than this figure right here. It's just awesome. So let's get another turnaround here with the cape on. And this is a non-transforming figure, as I mentioned before. That's, I guess, to have a robot mode this accurate and this well done, it kind of has to be. So let's he does come in at about 6 inches too. And the first thing I noticed about him when I got him out of the packaging was, honestly, it was his weight. This guy has some serious heft going on, and it's because his legs from the knee down are metal. They're die-cast metal. Like all of this whole, everything you see down here is metal, and that gives him some serious weight. I got this guy from HobbyLink Japan, and when I was invoiced and I saw my shipping charge, I was like, well, what the heck? Because I was shipping him by himself. And now I know why the shipping charge was so much. It's because he's a very heavy figure, which is kind of surprising to see. And he comes in at just about 6 inches. He's almost exactly 6 inches, which makes him larger than the typical Transformers Deluxe class figure. In fact, let's get a quick comparison here. Here he is with the current generation's Starscream. So he does tower over Starscream just a little bit, which is kind of cool. I mean, he should, honestly. So it puts him, I mean, he's larger than a Deluxe, but he's not quite a Voyager, or maybe he's a small-ish Voyager. If we do a comparison with let's say, a masterpiece figure. Here he is with the new wheeljack. They're close. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how close they actually are in size. I'm pleased to see that. But wheeljack is larger. But you know what? It's not bad. They don't look bad together at all, I don't think. My personal Transformers collection is a big old mishmash of deluxe class generations and chugs, whatever you want to call them, and masterpiece. I've got everything going on all over the place on my shelves. So I don't think Alpha Trion here is going to be too out of place in my own personal collection. So that's where he comes in terms of size. Now, he doesn't transform, but he does transform in a sense. You can transform him from Alpha Trion to the younger version of himself, which was known as A3. And to do that, we can just pop the cape off. We can pop his head off. It's just on there on a ball joint, a little snugly. And then these big old shoulder pads can come off. And those come off fairly easily. Okay, so there we have him headless and shoulder padless. And there is the new head, or not the new head, but the A3 head. And it's very similar. I mean, it's pretty much the same as the Alpha Trion head, except there's no very long beard and mustache. He's just got a shorter, more well-groomed mustache. And that can just pop on the ball joint easily. Then his shoulder pads for this version are a little bit different. As you can see, there's no giant, like, Judas Priest spike on the A3 shoulder pads, and they clip onto a different part of his. They don't clip onto his torso. They clip onto his shoulders here, and it is an extremely snug fit. Just super, super snug. In fact, I'm going to attempt this, but if I can't get it on easily, yeah, that's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to do this off camera because it's going to be an ugly fight. So 1 second. Okay, so here he is as A3, and those shoulder pads were a little bit harder to get on than I thought they would be. But A3, I mean, it's enough of a change that he does look like a pretty different figure right now. Let's get a close-up on the A3 head sculpt to get a sense of what it looks like. And it does look pretty cool. There we go. So it's just Alpha Trion with the mustache, but no super long beard. I think that looks pretty cool. I dig it. But, this is Alpha Trion, so let's get him back to his Alpha Trion mode. And let's see if these things are a little bit easier to get off than they were to put on. Because that was kind of no fun getting those things on there. Ah, God. It's just so freaking, they've got a death grip on there. And naturally the whole arm pops off. Ah, there we go, finally. And then that arm can pop right on. And that'll probably happen on this side too. Oh yeah, I'm just going to pop the arm straight off because this thing is not going to come off without a fight. Holy cow. Okay, I gotta see about this because I'm pretty sure if I tug any harder, I'm gonna break this thing. 1 second. Okay, got them off, but yeah, that was literally a fight to get that off. That was no fun at all. Fortunately, his head pops off much more easily. We can get the Alpha Trion head back on here, and then his other shoulder pads, which are much easier to deal with. Much, much, much easier. So I don't think I'm going to be transforming this guy back to A3 probably ever again, because that was just awful. Okay, so there he is, back as Alpha Trion. And let's take a look at the head sculpt there. There's the old wise Alpha Trion with the big, long, metal, robotic beard, because Autobots can grow facial hair and it grows. So that looks pretty cool. Again, like he just stepped off the screen from the cartoon. So how about we get a turnaround here next before we put the cape back on. Okay, so the cape just plugs right in. There's a little slot for it right there in the middle of his back. So it just plugs in just like that. And then it can be split too. So it is articulated, so if you want to put him in like action poses or something like, whoa, I'm falling, the cape can accommodate. And that's kind of cool. I like that. I like how that works. And for accessories, he comes with a whole bunch of swappable hands. Okay, 5 extra swappable hands. So, and they're pretty, I mean, it's pretty basic. The hands just pop out, and the new ones can pop in. Like, I like this pointing hand. Like, he can, you know, get in someone's face or give directives to Orion Pax. You know, just because you're bigger than me, you still have to listen. Now, for articulation, like I said, he is highly articulated, and he's got a really good range of motion in all of his joints. The shoulder pads do limit his range of motion in his shoulders a little bit. Well, a lot, actually. But it's still, like, not bad for what it is. And the shoulder pads do move some. And he's got a pretty good ab joint. Good range of motion there. And he's got a waist swivel. And I like the way his hips work here. So there's actually 3 or 4 pieces to them, and they move with his legs. So he can get a pretty good range of motion in his legs, but because these things, his whole lower leg is metal, they're heavy. So it's difficult to get him to hold a pose. And then that can just be moved right back into place. Whoops, and evidently they pop off. Oh, there's a little ball joint here too where they go in. Look at that. I wouldn't have known that otherwise. Unfortunately, that just snaps right back in place. No big deal. And his legs from the knee down, how this works, he's got a double knee, but we can pull here to extend them, and then he gets a really, really great range of motion in his knees. So he can be posed all over the place in all sorts of cool ways. And so, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different hands here. He's got the semi-open. I'm not going to swap all of them out. He's got hands here that look like they're meant to hold something, but he doesn't come with anything to hold, so I'm not sure what that's about. It looks like that could be a blaster hand or a sword hand or something, but there's nothing for him to hold, so I don't know. So he also comes with a yellow stand. That looks kind of neat. It reminds me of Vector Sigma a little bit. So he's got the stand, and he's got this arm to help him stay on the stand, I guess. And how this works, we can split the cape apart, and then there's a little piece on his lower portion that can be popped out. You kind of need fingernails to do it, though. Yeah, okay, there we go. So it just, it's very little, very, very losable. So I'm going to put it right there. And then this just plugs right in there. It is a snug fit. And then that can plug right into the base of the stand. So it makes them a little bit more secure, a little bit more sturdy. And it's got the little Autobot logo right there. And also, there's also this piece. I have no idea what it's for. It looks like it's supposed to be part of a stand. It comes in the same tray as the stand, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to do with it. And the directions aren't 100% clear either, so if anybody out there can tell me what I'm supposed to do with this, I would be much obliged, because I don't know what it is, what it's supposed to be, or what it's supposed to do. So it's just going over here. Okay. So that's Alpha Trion on the stand. And the stand, I mean, it's cool. It helps him. I mean, he's not exactly prone to fall over because his metal legs give him such a great base. But I guess a little more sturdy support goes a long way, I suppose, maybe. And this can be raised, whoops, if you want to put him in like some kind of like flight mode. It's almost, it's not even really strong enough to support his weight, because it's just, he's just falling over. So I guess the stand will work if you just want to have him just in a neutral stance like this. So I don't know how much I'm going to be using the stand, and I'm going to be too paranoid about losing that little red piece that I'm just going to put right back in place. There we go. Okay. So that is the EX Gohkin Alpha Trion figure. I'm really happy to have like a legit looking Alpha Trion in my collection. It's something I've wanted for a long time. I mean, since the 1980s, as a matter of fact, since he premiered on the cartoon. That was my first exposure to him. So this has really been a long time coming, and I'm happy to have one that isn't just like, you know, like a Vector Prime repaint. So that is the non-transforming Alpha Trion figure. So let us know what you think about this guy. Is he going to be worth the trouble to import? Worth the cost to import? That's the big question. I mean, all in, with shipping from HobbyLink Japan, I paid a little over $100 for this guy. So he was not cheap. So let us know what you think about him. Is he worth that cost? Leave a comment below. Let's discuss this on our message boards. We've got a thread going right now. Check us out on social media, and we will see you very soon. Thanks for checking us out.